Loyalty points hit our inbox, and he added a guest. The email subject was so cheerful it felt like a prank. Your points have posted, it sang, with our shared family address in bright blue and the hotel's logo wearing a grin only an algorithm could believe in. I was standing at the sink, eating cold pasta because I didn't want to wash another pan, when the notification slid over my lock screen and told me we had apparently been travelers. Arcadian rewards, the banner said. Stay credited Naomi Bloom, Nights 1. Guest added to profile. Guest, it is stunning how fast a word can put its feet on your furniture. Naomi had texted at 8, panel, donors, quick drink, don't wait up, with the green heart she uses when she wants me to collaborate with her lateness. We've been doing this since spring, when her center started attracting men in navy coats who pronounce closure like a sacrament. One of them is called Rowan. He curates money and rooms and sentences, and I've met him 3 times, in the way you meet a weather system. I opened the email because I could not decide I was better than it. The body was a confetti of congratulations. Thanks for staying with us, it said, like a child rehearsing manners. Below that, Naomi, you earned 1,000 points. Your profile now includes approved guest, R. Collins. Your breakfast credit has been applied. Breakfast credit. My stomach remembered it was a body and not a political theory. I put the phone face down on the counter and the apartment looked at me, the dog from his bed, the plant from the sill, the lamp with its kind patience. And I did the only useful thing I ever do after dark. I walked to Loom. Loom always smells like orange peel and reprieve. The lights are warm without flattery. Anna stood behind the counter wiping a clean surface, sleeves rolled, the pale crescent scar on her wrist catching the light in a way that makes your panic reconsider its posture. She saw my face and poured water without demanding context. Which company congratulated you for something you didn't do, she said. Arcadian, I said, points posted, guest added, breakfast credit. Anna's mouth tilted, not unkind. Spectacle is a sugar crash, she said, tapping the bar once with her knuckles. Mara is in the corner. She will ask you to choose bread. Mara sat with her red scarf folded into compliance, a notebook flattened by a rubber band, eyes that have learned to collect accurate mistakes. I slid into the chair opposite and placed my phone face up like a reluctant witness. She listened, as she always does, without interrupting the part where I embarrass myself by narrating facts like they are proof. When I finished, she brushed a crumb off the margin and said, bread or sugar? Bread, I said, and I meant it like a small vow. Good, she said. Go home, turn on one lamp, put the email on the table, unlock the door for accuracy, not for guests. Ask for one sentence you can live inside. If you need to be mean, you can be mean in your own kitchen. It's cheaper. I tipped her with gratitude I would pay back by not rehearsing a scene in a lobby, and I walked east. I took the long way past the Arcadian because superstition likes to pretend it's rigor. Under the awning stood Navy, talking to a woman who wanted to be a better question than the one he'd asked her to be. He saw me. His face tried on benevolence like a jacket he hoped I'd want. I kept walking. At home, I turned on one lamp, the kitchen lamp that makes the table brave, and opened the laptop to the email because paperless Betrayal still enjoys print. I unlocked the door because Mara says accuracy is a kindness you pay to the truth. The dog padded in from the bedroom, circled once, and lay down as if he decided the narrative could proceed without him. Naomi came in at 12:21 with drizzle in her hair and the lanyard still around her neck like a chore. She closed the door softly and saw the lamp, the laptop, the way I was keeping company with my hands. She took in the subject line and did the mouth she uses when she hates the part of herself that enjoys good fonts. Points, she said, the way you name a stain to stop it pretending. Guest, I said, breakfast credit. She leaned on the counter like she was agreeing with the kitchen. Accuracy, she said, and touch, in either order you can stand. Touch then truth, I said, because my body wanted to be consulted before my mouth made new law. We didn't go to bed to erase an email. We went because bodies can practice competence when words want to audition. She stood in front of me, and I raised the zipper of her dress slowly. Exact, the motion we reserve for nights we intend to be careful with ourselves. The fabric made that small, honest sound clothes make when they remember they are costumes. She placed my palm at her hip and pressed until stay became grammar. I kissed the hinge of her jaw where her certainty keeps breathing, and she said my name in the version that means keep. We asked our short questions, here, slower, more, and answered in breath, the one language that never tries to impress witnesses. We laughed once because a sleeve pretended to be architecture and she rescued me with her teeth. Heat arrived like tide. We met it where we promised to, unsurprised and grateful. When we came apart together, the room looked relieved, as if it had been waiting to believe us again. After, with the window cracked so the city could perform whether for some other couple, she put her cheek on my chest and drew a circle with one finger over the place where my worst ideas nap. Accuracy, she said into my skin. Yes, I said. He used my rewards profile to make a point to himself, she said. He sent me the invite to add a guest the way a museum sends an invitation to a donor gala, congratulatory, smug. I accepted because I wanted to track the lie he was telling me. That's vanity. Mine. Breakfast, I said. I didn't eat it, she said. I didn't sleep there. I stood in the lobby because it was raining and because I wanted to see whether wanting looked cheaper under expensive light. It did. He texted a picture of a cappuccino with my name on the foam like a barista had been recruited to ethics. I told him to drink his own name. Why points? I asked. Why email us about the night I don't want to know about? Because he believes in paperwork more than conscience, she said. Because he thinks if a system recognizes something, it becomes true. Because he wanted to be an approved guest in a database and then pretend the database was consent. Is he, I said, keeping my voice in its crate, a guest in anything of ours? No, she said. He is an RSVP I'm declining until his interns graduate. We went back to the table because kitchens make me competent. The laptop's polite confetti waited. The dog snored once and then took it back. Naomi tapped the Manage Profile link and removed the guest with a precision that felt erotic in its own way. She clicked Opt out of promotional emails because pettiness is a nutrient when portioned correctly. I'm not pure, she added, as if we both needed the ritual to do its job. I wanted to be admired under lighting I didn't have to pay for. Then I wanted to be kept under a lamp we chose. I pinned a room number in notes on the walk home not to go, but to be dramatic about not going. I unpinned it on the stairs. I want rules that don't require me to perform my virtue. Tools, not bars, I said, because the tongue learns competence by repetition. We wrote them on the back of the receipt with the pencil in the drawer that refuses to die. 1. Loyalty programs don't make vows, we do. If a system asks to add a guest, we answer in this room first. 2. No breakfasts we didn't order in the house where we eat. 3. Novelty is a chore your weeks, wrong hour for the right thing, my weeks, move the furniture until the light has to remember us. 4. When either of us misses being admired by the wrong person, we say it out loud and then do 3 stupid ordinary things until wanting goes back to sleep. Peel oranges over the sink. play one song to the end before anything important, kiss in the doorway so the apartment believes us. We did them because midnight respects checklists. We peeled oranges. The bright smell turned the room toward the future. We played the song that understands the difference between apology and talent. We stood in the doorway and kissed until the pipes clicked like elderly witnesses, swearing we were tellers of truth. In the morning, I canceled the rewards membership like an exorcism and sent a note to a customer service address that would never feel shame. "We prefer boring," I wrote, and filed it in a folder named Museum. I turned off every helpful setting that believed in hospitality more than consent. Naomi made coffee and read me a student paragraph about restraint that didn't make either of us want to quit. "Discipline is desire with receipts," she said, rolling her eyes at herself and smiling because she likes earnestness when it doesn't beg. At lunch, I passed the Arcadian because superstition likes to pretend it's research. Under the awning stood Navy, talking to a woman who looked like a complicated yes. He saw me and arranged benevolence on his face like a tie. "You're lucky," he said, as if the blessing he carried were a tip I should split. "I trained," I said, and kept my back for Naomi. I went a loom because victory tastes better when Anna names it and Mara ignores it on purpose, which is how she says continue. Anna slid me a cookie I pretended to refuse. "Bread," she said, tapping the counter like an oath. Sometimes the world tries again. The calendar suggests a focus block at 2 as if attention were a subscription. The doorbell guesses names and guesses wrong. The TV autoplays a life in which people say the funny line at the right time. We put whatever it is on the table, turn on one lamp, and ask for one sentence we can live inside. It keeps being enough until it isn't, and then we add a rule instead of a fight. On Thursday, Naomi texted from 2 blocks away. "Bring a lemon to loom. Sister mismanaged tea." I brought 2. Her sister cried into a croissant and then laughed in the key Naomi loves most. We walked home in a rain that had taken the day off from being a metaphor. That night we moved the couch 2 inches and the light forgot and remembered us. We took it as proof that rooms can be trained, and maybe so can we. Last night, alone for an hour I didn't want, I opened our junk drawer and found the folded note we keep there like a charm against our worst selves. Read if we forget. Inside, in my handwriting from a calmer evening, room 0, lights on, 2 people. I left it on the table under the lamp because superstition sometimes earns its keep. Naomi came in without a lanyard and put her hand on my chest like a promise she knew how to deliver. "Accept," she said, not as a question but as a ceremony, and I did, and the ceiling forgave us for practicing again. We are not pure. We are particular. The city will keep sending us emails congratulating us for nights we didn't spend and breakfasts we didn't deserve, and men in Navy will keep trying to make the alphabet prove they belong where we live. We will keep doing the cheaper, harder thing. Lamp on, table set, oranges peeled, one song to the end, a doorway that claps when we kiss, a membership in something no hotel can award, a guest list with 2 names that always match.